Goodness is being lost. It lost to efficiency, to optimization, to the simple recognition that being good does not work anymore. The kind person gets interrupted. The honest person gets outmaneuvered. The one who plays fair gets beaten by the one who does not. And after enough repetitions, after enough losses, something breaks. Not morality, something deeper. The belief that morality matters. We are living in the aftermath of that breaking. A world where everyone still knows the language of right and wrong, but nobody believes it means anything. Where people perform virtue for an audience while optimizing ruthlessly in private. Where goodness has become what it always secretly was, a trap for people who have not figured out the game. And the people who have figured it out, the ones who win, they do not want to be good anymore. They want to be real. And real, they have discovered, is the opposite of good. Walk into any comment section. The most liked responses are not the thoughtful ones. They are the ones that destroy someone. The tweets that go viral are not nuanced. They are dunks. Clean, brutal, final. Someone says something slightly wrong, and within minutes, they are not a person anymore. They are a target, and hundreds of people you will never meet compete to deliver the most devastating reply. Not because they care about the issue, because cruelty performs well. This is the economy we have built. Attention is currency. And the fastest way to get attention is not to be kind or insightful or helpful. It is to find someone weaker and obliterate them publicly. The algorithm does not reward patience. It does not reward understanding. It rewards conflict. Because conflict keeps people scrolling, and scrolling is what matters. So people learn. They learn that being earnest gets you ignored, that admitting uncertainty gets you dismissed, that trying to see multiple sides makes you a target for all sides. The incentive structure is clear. Be decisive, be cutting, be right even when you are wrong, especially when you are wrong. Because backing down, apologizing, showing growth, those things look like weakness, and weakness is death. The generation growing up in this system did not create it. They inherited it. A world where kindness has been recoded as weakness, where caring about strangers is emotional labor that nobody compensates, where being good is something you grow out of, like believing in Santa Claus, a beautiful idea that does not survive adulthood. And it is not just online. Look at who wins in the real world. In business, the CEO who destroys competitors beats the CEO who tries to compete ethically. In politics, the candidate who lies confidently beats the candidate who admits complexity. In dating, the person who plays games gets more attention than the person who is direct and honest. In careers, the one who takes credit beats the one who shares it. The pattern is everywhere. Goodness loses. Not sometimes. Consistently, structurally. The world is not set up to reward being good. It is set up to reward being effective. And effectiveness, real effectiveness, often requires doing things that good people will not do. This recognition, this slow dawning awareness that the game is rigged against goodness, creates a particular kind of exhaustion. Not the exhaustion of working hard. The exhaustion of trying to be good in a system designed to punish it. Of holding the door and watching people walk through without acknowledgement. Of letting someone merge in traffic and watching them speed ahead as if kindness was stupidity. Of being honest in negotiations and losing to the person who lied. Eventually, something inside recalibrates. The question stops being, how do I stay good? It becomes, why would I stay good? And the answer, the honest answer, is harder to find than it used to be. In the late 1800s, a German philosopher named Friedrich Nietzsche spent his entire career trying to explain why morality exists, and his answer made everyone uncomfortable. He said that morality was not discovered, it was invented. Specifically, it was invented by weak people as a way to control strong people. He called it slave morality, the morality of people who cannot win through power, so they win through guilt. They take everything the strong are good at: ambition, confidence, the willingness to take what they want, and they relabel it as evil. They call ambition greed. They call confidence arrogance. They call strength oppression. And then they take everything the weak experience, suffering, meekness, self-denial, and they relabel it as virtue. And if you believe this, if you internalize it, you will voluntarily weaken yourself. You will feel guilty for wanting things. You will apologize for taking up space. You will perform humility as a way of managing your shame for having desires at all. Nietzsche thought this was poison. He thought it turned strong people into what he called the last man, the person who wants nothing except comfort, who avoids all risk, who has no ambition except to be safe and left alone. The last man says we have invented happiness and blinks. No struggle, no greatness, no danger, just the slow, managed decline into complete mediocrity. But here is the part that Nietzsche understood, and most people reading him miss. He was not saying become a monster. He was not saying morality is fake, so do whatever you want. He was saying that what we call goodness is often just fear, wearing a virtue mask. The person who says I am humble is often just afraid of being seen. The person who says I do not care about success is often just someone who lost and decided the game was immoral. And once you see this pattern, once you notice how much of modern morality is just coping mechanism for powerlessness, it becomes very hard to take goodness seriously. It starts to look like what Nietzsche said it was: resentment disguised as righteousness, the weak convincing the strong to tie their own hands. Watch how this plays out now. Someone becomes successful, and immediately the language shifts. They are not talented. They are privileged. They are not driven. They are exploitative. They are not confident. They are arrogant. The person who has nothing finds 100 moral reasons why having nothing is actually superior. Minimalism, authenticity, freedom from material concerns. It is not that they lost. It is that they chose a higher path. And on some level, everyone knows this is cope. Everyone knows that if the struggling artist suddenly got rich, they would not refuse the money on moral grounds. The morality is just what makes losing bearable. But Nietzsche saw something else too. He saw what happens when people stop believing in the morality, but keep using its language. When the words good and evil are still everywhere, but nobody agrees on what they mean. When morality becomes just noise, just teams yelling at each other, using the same vocabulary to mean opposite things. In 1981, a philosopher named Alasdair MacIntyre wrote a book called After Virtue. The core argument was devastating in its simplicity. He said we are living in the ruins of moral systems we no longer believe in, that we use words like good and justice and virtue, but we have no shared framework for what those words mean. We are speaking fragments of dead languages. Christianity says goodness is self-sacrifice for others. Capitalism says goodness is self-optimization. Therapy culture says goodness is self-care. Socialism says goodness is collective solidarity. Nietzsche says goodness is life affirmation and power. Utilitarianism says goodness is whatever produces the most happiness. We have pieces of all these systems floating around, and none of them fit together. So when someone says you should be a good person, the immediate response is good according to whom? Which system? Which framework? And if you cannot answer that, if there is no shared foundation, then moral language stops meaning anything. It becomes what MacIntyre called emotivism. Moral statements are just expressions of personal preference. Saying murder is wrong is the same kind of statement as saying, I do not like cilantro. It is how you feel. It has no weight, no authority, no truth beyond your personal taste. And when morality is just personal preference, there is no way to resolve disagreements. You cannot argue someone out of their feelings. You can only overpower them. So moral debate stops being debate. It becomes war. Whoever can enforce their version of morality wins. Whoever controls the algorithm wins. Whoever rallies the mob wins. This is where we are. Nobody wants to be good because nobody agrees on what good means. And in the absence of agreement, power decides. Goodness, the old kind that required shared sacrifice and collective belief, that version does not even compete anymore. Walk through the culture we have built, the stories we tell ourselves, the characters we choose to spend time with. Walter White in Breaking Bad, a high school chemistry teacher who becomes a methamphetamine kingpin. He lies to his family. He manipulates everyone around him. He poisons a child to win a strategic game. He watches a young woman choke to death and does nothing. And we watch him for 5 seasons. And somewhere in that watching, something shifts. We start rooting for him. Not because he is good, because he is effective. Because he stops being the man the world walks over and becomes the man the world fears. Because he takes control. In the final season, his wife confronts him. She has discovered everything. The drugs, the murders, the double life. And she asks why. She says, you told me you did this for the family. That you were providing for us. That you were the good guy making hard choices. And Walter finally tells the truth. He says, I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it. And I was alive. The audience does not recoil from this confession. The audience exhales. Finally. Finally, he is being honest. For 5 seasons, he performed goodness while doing evil. And the performance was unbearable. But the honesty, the admission that he liked the power, that he enjoyed being feared, that felt real. This is what we respond to now. Not virtue. Honesty. Even if the honesty is, I am selfish and broken and I do not care, that registers as more authentic than someone claiming to be good, because we do not believe anyone is actually good anymore. We think goodness is just what people perform when they want something. Tony Soprano, a mob boss who murders people with his hands, who cheats on his wife constantly, who has his own nephew killed. But he goes to therapy. He cries about ducks. He has panic attacks. And we feel for him. We see his humanity. Not because he is good, because he is complicated, because he does not pretend. Succession. An entire show about horrible people destroying each other for control of a media empire. Not one good person in the entire cast. Every character is selfish, damaged, cruel. And it is one of the most celebrated pieces of television ever made. Because we do not want to watch good people anymore. Good people seem fake. They seem like they are hiding something. We want to watch real people. And real people, the culture has decided, are not good. They are just surviving. Just optimizing. Just playing the game the way the game actually works. And the game does not reward goodness. The game rewards understanding the game. And once you understand it, once you really see how it operates, being good starts to look like a category error, like trying to win chess by being nice to the pieces. In 1971, A psychologist named Philip Zimbardo set up an experiment in the basement of Stanford's psychology building. He wanted to study prison dynamics, so he built a fake prison and recruited college students. He randomly assigned half to be guards and half to be prisoners. The experiment was supposed to last 2 weeks. It lasted 6 days because the guards became abusive. They humiliated prisoners. They put them in solitary confinement. They invented degrading rituals and punishments. And these were not bad people. They were normal college kids who had passed psychological screening. But the situation changed them. The role changed them. Zimbardo's conclusion was that systems are stronger than individuals. That if you put good people in a bad system, the system wins. The role demands certain behaviors, and if you do not perform those behaviors, you fail at the role. So people adapt. They become what the system requires them to be. This is what Hannah Arendt saw when she covered the trial of Adolf Eichmann. She expected a monster, a sadist who enjoyed cruelty. What she found was a bureaucrat, a man doing his job, following procedures, optimizing for efficiency within the role he had been given. She called it the banality of evil, the recognition that most evil is not done by people who wake up and decide to be evil. It is done by people who are just following incentives, just doing what works, just advancing within the system they were born into. Eichmann organized train schedules. He solved logistical problems. He was good at his job, and his job was genocide. But he did not think of it that way. He thought of it as solving the problems he was given. The moral dimension did not enter his calculations. He was not cruel. He was efficient, and efficiency, divorced from morality, produces horror. This is the world we are building now. Not a world of monsters. A world of systems that reward efficiency and punish everything else. And the people in those systems are not choosing to be bad. They are choosing to be effective. They are doing what works. Capitalism operates this way. A company that prioritizes ethics over profit gets outcompeted by a company that does not. A worker who refuses to step on colleagues to advance gets passed over for someone who will. A business that pays fair wages gets undercut by a business that exploits labor. The system does not reward goodness. It punishes it. Over time, the good companies die. The ruthless companies survive. Not because ruthlessness is right, because it is more efficient. And the people running those companies are not evil. They are just responding to incentives. If they do not cut corners, someone else will. If they do not exploit advantages, they lose. So they do what works. And everyone knows this. Everyone sees it. Which creates a race to the bottom. Everyone competing to be slightly more ruthless than the competition. Everyone cutting corners a little faster. Everyone optimizing a little harder. Because if you do not, you disappear. And the same logic applies everywhere. In politics, in relationships, in social media. The question is never what is right. The question is what works. And once that becomes the question, once morality is just friction slowing down efficiency, goodness becomes obsolete. In the 1860s, a Russian novelist named Fyodor Dostoevsky wrote a book called Crime and Punishment. The protagonist is a young man named Raskolnikov. Brilliant, isolated, poor, and he develops a theory about human beings. He divides humanity into 2 categories: ordinary people who follow rules and live conventional lives, and extraordinary people who make history, who change the world, who are not bound by ordinary morality. Napoleon was extraordinary. He killed hundreds of thousands in his wars, but he also reshaped Europe. He created legal systems and nations. So was the killing wrong? Or was it necessary? Is morality different for people who can actually change history? Raskolnikov decides to test his theory. In his city, an old woman runs a pawnbroker business. She lends money at exploitative rates. She takes advantage of desperate people. She is cruel and parasitic. And Raskolnikov decides to kill her, not out of hatred, as an experiment, to prove that he is extraordinary, that he is beyond the moral rules that bind ordinary people, that he can do what Napoleon did, kill in service of a larger vision. So he murders her and her sister, who walks in at the wrong moment, and immediately everything falls apart. He cannot sleep. He hallucinates. He starts confessing without meaning to. His body rebels against what his mind decided was rational, and he realizes he was wrong. Not wrong morally, wrong about himself. He thought he was extraordinary. He thought he could kill without cost. But he is not Napoleon. He is just a person. And people, real people, carry their actions inside them. Dostoevsky is making an argument here. He is saying that conscience is not a social construct you can think your way out of. It is something deeper, something in the body, something that punishes you whether or not you believe you did wrong. But this raises an uncomfortable question. What about the people who do not feel it? What about the actual Napoleons? The CEOs who destroy communities and sleep fine? The politicians who lie without flinching? The people who hurt others and feel nothing? They exist. We all know they exist. And they seem to do better than fine. They win. They succeed. They get what they want. And if conscience is supposed to be universal, if guilt is supposed to be unavoidable, then why do some people never feel it? One answer is that Dostoevsky was wrong, that conscience is not universal, that some people are built differently, that what we call psychopathy or sociopathy is just the absence of the thing that makes most people hesitate before doing harm. And if that is true, if some people can defect without cost, then the system breaks completely. Because goodness becomes a handicap. The person who feels guilt loses to the person who does not. The person who hesitates loses to the person who acts without hesitation. The person who cares loses to the person who optimizes. And once you see this, once you understand that the people running the world might be the people who do not feel what you feel, the question becomes almost unbearable. Why should you keep feeling it? Why should you keep caring when caring is just the thing that holds you back? In 1985, Cormac McCarthy published a novel called Blood Meridian. It is set in the 1850s on the Texas-Mexico border, and it is one of the most violent books in American literature. The protagonist is a teenage boy who joins a gang of scalp hunters, men paid by the Mexican government to kill Apaches and bring back scalps as proof. Except they do not just kill Apaches. They kill anyone. Men, women, children, entire villages. They are not motivated by ideology or hatred. They are motivated by money and by something worse. The love of violence itself. The most terrifying character is a man called Judge Holden, 7 feet tall, completely hairless, pale as a ghost. He speaks multiple languages. He knows geology, biology, philosophy, music. He is enormously intelligent and completely amoral. The judge does not believe in good or evil. He believes in war. He says war is God, that war is the ultimate judge of all things, that everything that exists because it won the war of existence. Prey animals exist to be eaten. Weak nations exist to be conquered. Moral systems exist to be broken by whoever is strong enough. He says that moral law is an invention of mankind for the disenfranchisement of the powerful in favor of the weak, that it is a trick, a lie, a way for the weak to survive by convincing the strong to restrain themselves. And he refuses the lie. He does whatever he wants. He kills because he can. He takes because he wants. And McCarthy does not punish him. The judge does not face consequences. At the end of the book, he is still alive, still dancing, still winning. And the implication is clear. This is what the world looks like when you remove the comforting fictions, when you stop pretending that goodness matters. The judge is what remains. Not evil, exactly. Just power. Just the recognition that strength is the only thing that is real. And everything else, all the moral language, all the talk of justice and rights and dignity, all of it is just noise. Just the weak trying to survive in a world that belongs to the strong. This is the nightmare at the center of the question. If morality is invented, if good and evil are just human constructs with no foundation, then why follow them? And the only answer is because we agreed to. Because civilization is a collective agreement to restrain our worst impulses. But that agreement only works if everyone follows it. And if enough people stop following it, if enough people decide to optimize ruthlessly, then the agreement collapses. And what is left is just the judge. Just war is God. We are watching this happen in real time, not in some dramatic, apocalyptic way, in quiet, systemic ways, in the way algorithms replace human judgment, in the way corporations optimize for profit and externalize every cost, in the way politics becomes pure power struggle with no pretense of principle, in the way relationships become transactional, in the way every interaction is measured and optimized and stripped of everything except strategic value. This is not a world where goodness wins. This is a world where goodness does not even make sense, where being good is like trying to play by rules nobody else follows, where the people who win are the people who figured out that the rules were always optional. And once you see this, once you understand the game, the question becomes personal. Do you keep trying to be good, or do you finally admit that you never really wanted to be good? You just wanted to win while feeling good about yourself. The culture we have built makes the answer clear. Look at the stories we consume, the people we elevate, the behavior we reward. We say we value integrity, but we promote the liar. We say we admire honesty, but we elect the narcissist. We say we want kindness, but we swipe right on whoever performs confidence the best. Our revealed preferences are not for goodness. They are for effectiveness, for power, for the appearance of virtue without the cost. And maybe this is just honesty. Maybe people were always like this, and we are just finally admitting it. Maybe the past was not more moral, just better at hiding. Or maybe something has been lost. Maybe there was a time when people believed, actually believed, that doing the right thing mattered more than doing the effective thing. That living with integrity was worth the cost, even if it destroyed you. That belief, however naive, however unsustainable, might have been what held things together. Because the alternative, the world we are building, is a world where everyone is optimizing, where every interaction is transactional, where trust is impossible because defection is always the rational choice, where the only bond between people is mutual advantage. And when that advantage disappears, so does the bond. That world is efficient, it is rational, it is honest about what humans are, but it is not human in the way we used to think we were. It is human as Nietzsche described, the last man, the person who has no values except comfort, who wants nothing except to be left alone, who has optimized away every risk and every meaning and says we have invented happiness, and blinks. Nobody wants to be good anymore. Not because we became evil, because we became tired. Tired of pretending, tired of performing, tired of losing to people who stopped pretending a long time ago, tired of caring about things that do not care back. And maybe that tiredness is just seeing clearly. Maybe goodness was always a beautiful lie, a story we told to make the horror bearable. And now the story has stopped working, and we are left with the horror, with the question of whether we can build something in it, or whether we just wait for it to collapse. Nietzsche thought that after God died, after the old moralities lost their foundation, humanity would have to create new values, that we would become artists of our own existence, that we would decide individually and collectively what makes life worth living, what we are willing to sacrifice for, what we will die for. But most people do not want that responsibility. Most people want to be told what is good. They want a system that makes sense, a structure that works. And when that system collapses, they do not become artists. They become lost. And in that lostness, the old answer keeps surfacing. The answer that Nietzsche hated but could not escape. The answer that Dostoevsky gave. The answer in every religious tradition. That goodness is not rational, not strategic, not efficient. You do not do it because it works. You do it because it is what you are. Because betraying it betrays yourself. Because some things matter more than winning. But that answer only functions if you believe it. And belief is not something you can argue yourself into. It is something you feel or you do not. And most people, looking at the world as it actually operates, do not feel it anymore. So they stop. They stop being good. They start being realistic. They start playing the game the way it is actually played. And they tell themselves this is growth. This is maturity. This is finally seeing through the lies. And maybe they are right. Maybe goodness was always slave morality. Always just the weak finding a way to survive. Always just resentment dressed in virtue language. Or maybe we have just given up. Maybe we have mistaken exhaustion for enlightenment. Maybe we have confused cynicism with wisdom. Maybe we are not seeing clearly. Maybe we are just too tired to keep trying. The question remains open, and it is not a question with an answer. It is a question you live with, a question you embody in how you move through the world. Nobody wants to be good anymore, but the question was never about what people want. The question is what you are willing to become, and whether you can live with that becoming. The world rewards cruelty, the system punishes virtue, the culture celebrates effectiveness over ethics. All of that is true, and inside that truth, a choice still exists. Not a comfortable choice, not one with guarantees, just the choice of what you will be in a world that has stopped rewarding it. Of whether you will perform goodness while optimizing selfishly like everyone else, or whether you will be good even when it costs you, even when nobody sees, even when it makes you the slowest car on the road. That choice does not come with meaning attached. You have to create the meaning, and most people cannot do that. Most people need the meaning to come first. They need to know it will matter. They need guarantees, but guarantees are exactly what this world does not offer. All it offers is the choice, and the knowledge that the choice is yours, and that choosing is the only freedom that remains when all the old certainties have collapsed. So nobody wants to be good anymore. And maybe that is just honesty. Maybe that is just seeing the world as it is. Or maybe it is the last temptation, the final test of whether anything inside you is real. The world will not tell you which. The algorithm will not tell you which. The culture will not tell you which. You have to decide, and then you have to live with what you decided. And that living, that carrying the weight of your own choice, in a world that has stopped caring what you choose, that might be the only place where goodness still exists. Not as a reward, not as a strategy, just as what you are when nobody is watching and nothing is keeping score. The question was never whether the world wants you to be good. The question is whether you still want to be good when the world has made it perfectly clear that goodness is obsolete. Answer carefully, because the answer is not in your words. It is in what you do next, and the next thing after that, and every small choice that follows for the rest of your life. The world has stopped keeping score, which means you are the only one left who knows.